welcome you back to the program, and we're welcoming back as well Dr. George Salib. Good to have you back on the program.
Thanks.
Good to have you come by today. So something that we hear a lot about, and I guess as we age, more and more of us or our family and friends have to deal with something called cataracts. I know it's something that you've studied for years in medical school and now in your practice working on it, but for our people that maybe aren't up on all the latest medical, briefly, what is a cataract?
A cataract is basically a clouding of the natural lens of your eye. So as you age mainly, the proteins within the lens, kind of like the lens of a camera that allows you to focus, the proteins within the lens start to clump together and form a clouding of the lens. So you could actually see on the on this picture over here that on the left image you can see the eye in a side view with the lens focusing the light very clearly onto the back of the eye, which is the red part of the eye called the retina, and so you have a very clear image.
Right.
On the right side of the screen, the cataract, the cloudy lens, scatters the light and doesn't allow for a clear image. And usually by the time we're in our 70s, about half of us will have significant cataracts, and by the time we're in our 80s, about 70 to 75% of us will have cataracts, and they can impact our life greatly by blurring your vision. It makes it difficult to drive at night, for instance, because of the glare from headlights, even during the day from the sunlight. You might have trouble reading or seeing the television or the print on the television.
Right. So it's a natural occurrence, and you could have good health and healthy eyes otherwise, but develop that strictly through the aging process.
Yes, exactly.
But I would imagine there's maybe some rare cases where maybe something happens and it happens sooner at a younger age. I guess you've had some cases younger than, say, 75 or so.
Oh yeah, sure. If you had, for instance, some trauma in your eye, if you have diabetes, or if you've taken oral steroids such as prednisone for another medical condition, certainly you can develop cataracts earlier.
Mm-hmm. So you remove the lens, the cloudy lens,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess back in the day, in the ancient days, that was all they did, and they gave you then real thick glasses so you could cope.
Right, exactly. So we're taking out the natural lens of the eye, which has gotten cloudy, and we have to replace it. Otherwise, you won't have a lens to focus, and that's when you get those big Coke bottle glasses. Nowadays, we have really exciting ways of taking out the cataract. We have the standard method, which is with something called phacoemulsification, where we break up the lens with this machine, and then we suck it out and we put in a new lens inside your eye, which is called an intraocular lens, or IOL. The other option now we have is laser cataract surgery with a laser machine. And we're always staying up on the latest of technologies. I'm actually very proud to announce that last Friday I was the first surgeon in the Western United States to use the latest software advancement for the latest Lens X laser. Mm-hmm. And the cases really went beautifully.
I know you've been using lasers for years for other types of procedures with the eye, LASIK and some of those corrective procedures.
Right.
So is this the same laser or a different type of laser?
Well, there's two types of laser, for instance, used to do LASIK. There's one that creates the flap and one that does the correction. This is the same type of laser that creates the flap.
Okay. So you're using similar technology that you're somewhat familiar with already with this new procedure.
Yes.
I guess the lens you replace it with, I think people that have worn contact lenses, is it a soft material? Is it a hard material? What's the actual replacement lens made of?
It's usually a soft material made with a plastic called acrylic, or it could be made with silicone. It's very small and it fits right into the eye, not on the surface of the eye, but inside.
So it goes behind where that cloudy lens was removed. You replace it with a new type of lens. And I guess again, they went from the Coke bottle glasses to for those of you in photography, a fixed lens, a specific millimeters of lens, and usually that was for normal vision, and then you'd correct with glasses for reading and distance and all of that.
Right. Well, there's several types of lenses. There's the standard monofocal lens, which is actually shown here, has a nice clear central portion through which you see, but you'll need glasses to see the different distances because it only focuses at one distance.
Right. But you've got some new technology now that's focusable. Exactly.
There are many new technologies now. There's one lens that here, for instance, called the toric lens, which has some hash marks that allows us to dial it in exactly to correct for something called astigmatism. Now, astigmatism, the easy way to understand that is if you look at your image inside a spoon, your face will be distorted. That's what astigmatism is. If it's not perfectly round, it distorts it a little bit. So this toric lens allows us to fix that problem. And then there's other lenses, such as the multifocal lenses, like the Restore lens or the Technis multifocal, which have these little concentric rings in the center of the lens, which allows us to focus at different distances, allowing us to see far, intermediate, and near.
Those of us that are used to doing TV lighting or stage lighting may be familiar with a Fresnel lens. This looks similar to that with the rings.
Yeah, it's a very similar concept.
Right.
And it allows us to split light at different levels to allow us to see different distances. And there's also another lens called the Crystal lens, which is similar to that, and it has hinges which allows that single optic to move back and forth, also allowing us for a broader range of vision.
If somebody has been using glasses for years, or contact lenses as a substitute for glasses, they develop cataracts, you say, well, the bad news is you have cataracts, I have to take them out. The good news is I can replace it with a lens that allows you to focus. Is there some training? Has our eye gotten lazy wearing contact lenses or glasses?
Well, it depends. If you, for instance, have the Crystal lens, your eye, and depending on how old you are, you might have to go through an adjustment period to be able to focus that lens back and forth. The other one with the rings, you don't need that because it naturally splits the light with those rings. So,
how do you make a decision to which one to recommend? It looks like you've got 4 or 5 here that you like to use.
Right.
How do you make that recommendation to the patient?
Well, that's the thing. You know, I don't want the patient to think, you know, that you're the only one that has to research this and figure out which lens is best for you. We take you throughout the whole process. We examine your eye. I determine what is the best lens for your eye depending on the anatomy of your eye and what you like to do and what your goals are after surgery.
Well, the good news is that you can do a lot of great things with it. The other side of that is obviously anything medical is going to cost some dollars. Let's talk about the insurance aspect, either private insurance, Medicare, or Medicare supplement. Is cataract surgery covered?
Cataract surgery, yes, is covered by insurance as long as you have trouble seeing. If you're not having trouble seeing but you still wanted to take advantage of the lens, then it might not cover it. But for all people who have trouble seeing, yes, it would. Now the lenses themselves, the standard lens is covered. The other lenses, you might have to pay a little bit extra to get that extra technology, and you'll just pay the difference there.
I understand that we all like to hang on to our money and not dump it all at once. You have something called Care Credit, which helps people maybe kind of finance that process if they need to.
Yeah, exactly. You can take between a year and a year and a half to pay off these lenses without interest, and it makes it much more affordable to get that best lens inside your eye.
All right, sounds like some unique technology. If you want to find out more, if this is appropriate for you, give their office a call, 770-1322. And by the way, if you are the program director for a club or organization, I understand you're available to come give them a free lecture and deal with some of these topics or anything that might be of interest as far as eye care.
Yeah, I'd be happy to go over these topics in much more detail at your clubs.
All right, again, if you want to find out more, give the doctor's office a call, 770-1322. Dr. Salib, thank you for coming by. Interesting topic.
Thanks for having me.
Good to have you on the show today. We'll be coming back with more as our Monday program continues here on Channel 6 TV.